This is a WDBJ7 special presentation. Black History Month, Voices of Virginia. Sponsored by Member One, a division of Virginia Credit Union.
Thank you for joining us for WDBJ7's Black History Voices of Virginia special. I'm Tanisha Jackson.
And I'm Michaela Shelton. If you remember last year, we focused on the history of our hometowns and what Black history meant for each region, from Roanoke to Lynchburg to Danville and more.
And this year, we're not only looking back at history, but also highlighting Black excellence.
And we're starting with a hometown legend. Later this year, WDBJ7 will celebrate its 70th anniversary. And during Black History Month, we are profiling one of the trailblazers on our air, sportscaster Roy Stanley Miller.
WDBJ7's Joe DeShiel reports on his legacy.
Associated Press has named North Carolina's Michael Jordan as its Player of the Year.
This is how longtime viewers remember Roy Stanley, delivering the sports during his 30-year career in television. But the Wytheville native got his start in broadcasting at his hometown radio station, WYVE, while he was still in high school.
One of our favorites was Patio Party in the summertime, that he DJ'd that program every summer. And all of that was while he was in high school, maybe a junior, senior.
Roy's sister, Rhonda Miller Rogers, also remembers his visit to WDBJ7 a few years later, on Valentine's Day, 1972.
And if my recollection is correct, they talked to him, interviewed him, and hired him on the same day.
Roy recalled that day when he was honored by the Roanoke branch of the NAACP in 2000.
I walked in that building, I had an 8-inch afro, a pair of dark shades, had my shirt open, didn't have no hair on my chest, but my shirt was open, and I had on a pair of platform shoes.
Roy Stanley Miller would go by his middle name on the air.
For Channel 7 News, I'm Roy Stanley in Bedford.
To avoid confusion with WDBJ7 news director and anchor Ron Miller. And in the earliest clips we found in the WDBJ7 archive, Roy was covering news, not sports.
The new home will cost about $100,000, and it will house 16 children at one time.
Roy would eventually go all in on sports, building a strong rapport with student athletes, coaches, and fans throughout Southwest Virginia. He chose to anchor on weekends and report during the week, even after he was offered the job as WDBJ7's sports director.
And no matter where we went, we would come back to the station and get out after having laughed all day long.
Mike Stevens traveled across Southwest Virginia with Roy and saw firsthand how people embraced him.
And coaches, players, everyone would just gravitate to where Roy was just to talk to him.
We were all just teenage fools together.
Roland Lazenby was a year behind Roy at George Wythe High School, and they remained friends after both moved to the Roanoke Valley. A former newspaper reporter and journalism professor, Lazenby has written more than 50 books, including definitive biographies of Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant.
Roy was that person that broke down every kind of barrier with just presence, the strength of his persona.
Covering a lot of the local kids in our Friday football program is, I would say, the biggest highlights of my career.
Do you think he viewed himself as a trailblazer or a role model?
No, not at all.
We sat down with Roy's children, Keisha Miller Jackson and Chris Miller. They remember him as a normal dad with an unusual job, and they want others to know that he and their mother, Katie Dudley Miller, were always there for them.
He really was the same, on camera as he was, off camera.
I hope people hear, that he loved his family. He loved his job. And he balanced them both out, to where work didn't interfere with home and home didn't interfere with work.
Keisha and Chris have their own families now, and they want their kids to know about their grandfather's life and legacy. Roy died in April 2002 after a brief illness. More than 20 years later, friends and family remember him as a role model, a devoted family man, and a talented broadcaster who left an indelible mark on Southwest Virginia.
He's been gone way too long and way too soon, but people still talk about Roy like he was just on the air this past weekend doing the sports.
He landed in the right place at the right time. and ended up doing something that he loved doing. And that's the reason I wonder how long he would have kept doing it.
It's sad. It's something you don't realize until they're, till they're not here anymore. But, I'm thankful every day, that I got to grow up with him being, my father.
And that's the way it shapes up in sports.
In Roanoke, Joe DeShiel, WDBJ-7.
Yeah, what a beautiful story there about a groundbreaking figure in our community.
Yes, absolutely. Coming up, we're traveling down to Wytheville to hear how students and educators strive for knowledge in the segregated South.
You're watching Black History Month Voices of Virginia, sponsored by Member One, a division of Virginia Credit Union.
Turning now to Wytheville, during a time when a school for African Americans opened its doors. That school now turned into a cultural center and museum, paying homage to its history, students, and educators who strived for knowledge in the segregated South. It's here on the historic roads of East Franklin Street in Wytheville, where African Americans from surrounding counties traveled up to 71 miles in pursuit of education and opportunity, leading them to what's now known as the Wytheville Training School. In 1867, the Freedmen's Bureau opened a school in Wytheville, the only educational institution available to African American students from Bland, Carroll, Grayson, and Wythe counties.
It started out in a community and actually moved here in 1883.
It was renamed the Wytheville Training School in 1926. Louise Crockett, a proud graduate, recalls the challenges faced by students during that era.
One girl that came from the cold, they couldn't ride on the buses then because it wasn't integrated. And so her and her brother would walk about 3 miles to the road to catch the bus.
Crockett grew up in Wytheville, where she formed friendships with the white families that moved into the neighborhood until the school bell rang.
We played together until we went to school, and when we went to school, we separated, They weren't our friends anymore.
At the Wytheville Training School, Crockett found camaraderie among her peers. Together, they learned about prominent African American figures and how to read.
If you missed a word, you stood there until you got it. I never forget it. I missed a word, and the word was absolutely. And I stood up there for about 10 minutes. It was so embarrassing. And so I learned that word. Seemed like the teachers took so much interest in the kids that they had. And some of the things we didn't like to do, but what we had to do, what they taught us to do, it made us stronger.
But she noticed the disparities in educational resources their school received compared to their white counterparts.
I couldn't understand why they send those raggedy books that the pages went in them, and it was just like we wasn't here.
She recalls the harsh realities of racial discrimination, but school remained a sanctuary of joy and support. Today, Louise remembers her siblings and their shared experiences captured in photographs displayed throughout the building.
My brother, Shorty could play, but they used to call him sometimes Butterfingers, because he would drop the ball. He couldn't get it. But he was a runner.
Operating until 1952, the Wytheville Training School now stands as a museum, chronicling the resilience of this community.
I look at that school bell often as a form of that fundamental communication process that worked. That bell could be heard for blocks because a lot of the churches augmented the services. They had to communicate not only to the students, but to the parents.
The Wytheville Training School Cultural Center serves as a beacon of hope, providing educational programs to the community while honoring the legacy of those who learned within its walls.
Wytheville Training School was like a home away from home. And I just love the training school. I guess there's still I guess there's I'm still stuck around here.
In Wytheville, Tanisha Jackson, WDBJ 7.
Stick around because we're showing more excellence. After the break, we're digging into something sweet by highlighting a local baker.
And later, we'll have a special reading from Roanoke's poet, Lorette.
Welcome back to Black History Month Voices of Virginia, sponsored by Member One, a division of Virginia Credit Union.
Welcome back. We're continuing your celebration of Black excellence and Black business in our hometowns with something sweet. So right now we're joined by Lakeisha Smith, owner of Kiki's Candies and Cakes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you all for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, just tell us a little bit about Kiki's Candies and Cakes and how you got started.
Okay. So I was raised by my grandmother, and she baked, and her famous thing was sweet potato pies. And in 2018, December 2018, I had a little granddaughter, Kinsey, in November 2018. So after that, I just wanted to leave like a legacy, build some generational wealth for my grandchildren, and after some encouragement of friends and family, launched the business.
Oh my gosh, and your work is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
What does it mean to you to be a Black business owner, and how has that journey been?
It's been a wonderful journey. I love to give back, and I have done a variety of things, donations in our community. I've taught a baking class at the YMCA through several of their programs, and just donating back to the community and just trying to inspire other Black business owners, especially Black young women business owners, through a Baker's collaboration, just to help them with ideas or anything that I can help them with, just to help uplift them as well.
So tell us about what you make and what you sell.
Okay, so I do a variety of desserts, dipped berries, dipped pretzels, party packages for birthdays. This is my very famous strawberry crunch cake here, cupcakes, just pound cakes, a variety of different items, pies, cheesecakes. A lot of my cheesecakes are very popular.
Oh my goodness, I'm starving now.
Goodness. And so I'm sure all of these are very popular, but what is your most popular, the number one seller?
So probably this strawberry crunch cake would be, and then my banana pudding, the banana pudding cake.
How does it feel to be a part of helping to bring diversity to Southwest Virginia?
I'm very excited to be a part of this, to be a part, when I first started, I doubted whether or not I could actually pull this off, but I really enjoy being a part of the Black baking community. I would like to see more of it, in our community, and whether it's through collaborations with other bakers, or I would just really like for it to increase.
Yeah,
for sure.
You have a, Black business idea that you want to, achieve. Definitely, if she's not inspiring you, I think you should definitely go out and make it happen. So speaking on that, what advice would you give to Black business owners?
I would say to collaborate with other business owners, know your market, know your seasons, when it's busy season, when it's not. Get in touch with the Small Business Association. They helped me a lot when I first started this business, and just reach out to other people and network.
Absolutely. And so if someone wants to try some of your delicious desserts, how can they reach out? How can we keep up with you?
I am also on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. You can also give me a call, and I'll be happy to service you.
Well, thank you so much, Lakeisha, for joining us. And if you missed any of this segment, you can visit our website at WDBJ7.com. And don't go anywhere, because we have more Black excellence to showcase for our Voices of Virginia special. Welcome back to our Black History Voices of Virginia special. Next, we have a poetry reading from Roanoke's youth poet laureate, Alani Spencer.
She'll be reading her work, Theory of Evolution. Take a listen.
In the beginning, a fish washed ashore, lathered in sea foam, scales glittering under a blazing sun, clumsy with its new limbs, lungs instead of gills, legs instead of flippers. Survival of the fittest, something my people know all too well. My mother was a fighter. My grandmother before her was a trailblazer, and her mother before her was a revolutionary. The women of my family are constantly evolving, building more strength, more resilience, adapting to a country that lacks acceptance. And I'm here, far from home, because the pressure of the first black woman feels like a knee to the neck, drowning in my own saliva. The same fear that kept my ancestors from running ignited in my chest like liberty's torch, stoked by the flames of, "You did it! You made it out! We're so proud of you, our little black superstar." How can a black girl carry her whole community on her back without suffering from the scars? But I will build a bridge between land and sea where we could gather and call the ancestors from the depths, wrapped in seaweed, salty but alive. Watch the ships pass and wade in the water a while. Yes, they will blow their horns, send the current to wash us away, then use our beached bodies to warm their cabins. Yes, this is a fish-eat-fish world, but I will not be swallowed.
That was Alani Spencer reading The Theory of Evolution. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break.
Thank you so much for tuning in for our Black History Month Voices of Virginia special. And since we couldn't contain all of this hometown excellence in just 30 minutes, please join us again at 10:30 on WZBJ 24 for more of our Black History Voices of Virginia special.
But until then, please share some of your favorite stories on our Facebook and check out some other stories on our website, WDBJ7.com. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you for watching Black History Month Voices of Virginia. Sponsored by Member One, a division of Virginia Credit Union.